What's up, my comic comrades? We're taking a break from Marvel Month today because Detective Pikachu hit the big screen last night, and you better believe we were at the theater to catch them all. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, I got thoughts aplenty to share with you about the first ever live-action Pokemon movie. But before I get into that, a quick reminder that you have until tomorrow night at 11:59 p.m. Central Time to get in on our giveaway with comic artist Jonboy. So for details on how to give yourself a chance to win some awesome collectible comic art signed by Jonboy, click the link in the description. Also in the description is a link to enter our other big Avengers giveaway with Comic Tom. You have until May 23rd to enter to win an Avengers issue 1 or 2 other classic original comics. And speaking of Comic Tom, in his mystery mail call subscription box this month, he is also randomly giving away 2 original copies of Iron Man issue 55, which is the first appearance of Thanos in comics, and every box will get at least 1 Silver Age Avengers comic. Believe me when I tell you, for only 36 bucks, that's crazy go nuts. So if you want to get in on that, which you definitely should if you can, the deadline to sign up for this month is May 15th. We'll also throw the link for that in the description below. Okay, Detective Pikachu, let's get into it. As always, I'm going to start with what I liked about the movie, and there was a lot to like. Off the bat, I do want to say I'm not a massive Pokemon fan anymore, but when I was a kid, I loved it. For 2 years straight, it was like my favorite franchise at the time. I was obsessed with the original card game, the red and blue Nintendo color games, and of course, the anime/cartoon. And for those of you wondering, I was Team Red, Charizard, all the way, but I have nothing against Blastoise. But I say all this to let you guys know I'm not approaching this the same way I would approach a DC movie or a Marvel movie, because those are my babies. Now, as for the movie itself, my favorite thing about the movie, and I'm sure is going to be most people's favorite thing about the movie, is Pikachu. Ryan Reynolds does a completely fantastic job playing Pikachu. He's hilarious, he's cute, all that stuff you would want in Pikachu. And the coolest thing about it is it's pretty much a PG version of Deadpool. Like, it's just Ryan Reynolds doing the Deadpool persona almost, but for kids. So for all the youngins out there who weren't allowed to see the first 2 Deadpool movies, this is pretty much what we got, except way cleaner. Another great aspect of the movie is there's tons of Easter eggs for die-hard Pokemon fans. Again, that's not me, but I do know enough about the franchise to spot several things, like the Pokemon songs. Of course, everyone knows that song, gotta catch them all, and it's in the movie at least 3 or 4 times. Not like outright, but they do it enough to where you're like, oh my god, that's the Pokemon song. Another thing, of course, super obvious, but the Pokeball. It's not really an Easter egg or anything like that, but it just looks awesome, and it's really cool to see it in live action for the first time. I really like the way they portrayed it. Then, of course, we have Rhyme City, the world where Pokemon and humans could live in harmony, which was really, really cool. I think that's in the newer games. I don't remember that being in the red and blue games. It could be, but I played those games years ago. Either way, it's a very popular city in the Pokemon universe, and it was really cool to see that come to life as well. Overall, there's a ton of fan service in this movie. You could really tell the director, the producers, the writers, everyone involved with creating it really took care of the franchise and respected it. And obviously, the biggest thing that fans are going to be looking for are the Pokemon, and there is tons of cameos of them in this movie. You have Squirtle, Charmander, Psyduck, Jigglypuff, Snorlax, and the list goes on. There's a bunch I didn't even know who they were. There's even some Easter eggs and cameos of some Pokemon that may or may not be legendary. Diehard fans of the franchise know what I mean. Although I will say I was personally bummed that I didn't spot a Zapdos. Now, he could have been in the movie. There's just so many characters and Pokemon in the background that I might have just missed him. But again, I personally didn't see him, and I really wanted to. His playing card was my favorite as a kid. Not because he had the most damage in the card game or he was the most rare card to find. It was just because he looked freaking cool. He was a hollow card. He was yellow, made out of lightning, and for some reason, I think I just like yellow characters. My favorite character from Mortal Kombat is Scorpion. Big Bird from Sesame Street was awesome, and SpongeBob from SpongeBob SquarePants. Holy crap. Why do I like things that are yellow? Moving on from this life discovery of mine, the movie is definitely more based off of the Detective Pikachu games. Now, I know a lot of you may be like, no crap, Arris, that's literally the title of the movie. But I figured I'd throw that out there because I know me and my other friend were kind of expecting it to go in some other directions and maybe be more broad of the Pokemon franchise, but I guess that's my fault, not theirs, because again, the movie is literally called Detective Pikachu. Now, with all that said, that's actually a perfect segue to bring me into my gripes. My biggest gripe about this movie is there's not enough Pokemon battles. There's actually only one big one in the movie, and that kind of just disappointed me because that's what the card game was all about, that's what the video games were all about, and that's what the anime and cartoon series were all about, so I just wanted more of that. To be fair, they do establish in the movie that the battles do exist at Rhyme City, but we only get glimpses of it, so maybe they're going to do that in spin-off movies or future movies later on. Another minor gripe I had is that the story was super bland and simple. Now, I'm not saying this movie talked down to its audience, but I just thought it was very predictable. Having said that, I do realize this is a children's film, but I still feel like you could have done something a little more complex. Actually, in the same vein, I wish this movie followed the anime/cartoons a little more. I was a big fan of that growing up. The card games, the video games, the cartoon series, so I wish it went a little more that route. Which means it would have been more focused on catching Pokemon and then becoming the world's greatest Pokemon master. And that also means we would have got a ton of Pokemon battles. Also, I think that would have lent itself to making a trilogy out of this movie, as you could have had an arc of the first movie, catching Pokemon and learning all about that, and by the third movie, being the world's greatest Pokemon master. Having said all that, the direction they went isn't bad, that's just my personal opinion. In summary, this was a fun movie. If you have kids, nieces or nephews, this is a fun flick to take them to go see. Also, I would assume if you're a massive Pokemon fan, you're probably really gonna enjoy this movie because there's a ton of Pokemon. But other than that, that's gonna bring today's episode to a close. Don't forget to check out both of our giveaways, our Avengers 1 giveaway and our Jonboy giveaway. Both links for that is in the description. And also, get on Tom's mystery mail call. The link for that is also in the description. But be sure to follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. And other than that, I'll see you guys next time when we talk about all things comics.